Hi, I'm Sharon Bill. Welcome to my Theory Tuition series where we're working together step by step through each of the ABRSM Theory Grades. There are lots of resources available to help you if you go to my website. If you visit sharonbill.com, you'll find some free PDF information sheets, and you can download these in US letter or A4, and they accompany each step of this series to help you. You'll find a page there with links to all of my YouTube video tutorials, and also you can find out about the books that I have available. I've written an exam technique guide, how to take your ABRSM Music Theory Exam. It's full of tips and techniques on how to best prepare for your exam, and also how to make the best use of your time come exam day when you're actually sitting and working through your exam paper. So if you go to sharonbill.com, you'll find it all there. If you can give me a like, that would be really super, and please do subscribe to my channel and please share out the videos. And now we're going to continue with the paper S of the 2018 practice papers for grade 3. So this is a specimen paper. It was never actually sat as an exam, it's just given to you for extra revision. These practice papers and even the older years are really good preparation for your exam. So let's turn to page 16. And we're going to start with question 3. And so I know that I'm repeating myself, but please do have a go of this on your own. First of all, it's so much better to learn by your mistakes. Even if you go wrong, just work in pencil, and then you can just rub it out and have another go, and you'll learn more thoroughly that way. And so now I'm hoping you've had a go, and we'll look through these together. So we're asked to describe these melodic intervals. They're melodic because they come one after another, as in a melody. And we need to always count up from the given tonic here. The first job is to count out the number of steps, always counting the given first note here as 1. That's the first degree of the scale. So we're going from here to the next step up, 1, 2. That's a second. So we know it's a something second. So that's half marks straight away. So now we need to think whether it's a major or a minor second. Now don't forget your key signature that's active here. We're going from C sharp to D sharp, and that's a major second. Major means greater, minor means lesser. So from C sharp to D sharp, it's always better to visualize these on a piano keyboard. Even if you're not actually a pianist, it's still a really good way of just checking these out. We can see that that's a full tone. It's easy also to think about it. Well, C to D is a major interval. That's more obvious. So therefore, parallel C sharp to D sharp is also major. So there we go, major. Next one. So first of all, let's get half marks straight away. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. It's a seventh. Now then, we're from G to F sharp. Now F sharp is part of G major scale. G major is like the largest step, greatest step. F natural will be smaller. It's part of the major scale. It's a major interval. It's that greater interval. So even though we're in G minor, the fact that this note is raised by the sharp takes it into the major spectrum. So there we go, major. So let's count out 1, 2, 3, 4. That's a fourth. So that's half marks straight away, and actually that's easy peasy because we know that fourths, fifths and octaves as they are perfect. There's no major or minor there at all. They are perfect intervals. Let's press on. So here we have 1, 2 is the space, 3, 4, 5, 6. It's the sixth. So now we need to think about it. Now this is going from F to D flat. Now F major would have a D natural in it. F major has only B flats. That's a major interval. And the fact that we've made it smaller and it's now part of that minor key signature, it's a smaller interval. We've made the interval lesser, so therefore it's a minor sixth. There we go. And then finally, at a glance you can see we're going from A to A, so that's an octave, but let's just check. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. It's an octave or an eighth, and therefore we just know it's a perfect interval. So there we go. Let's press on. So now we're required to add a clef or a key and a key signature, not all, a clef and a key signature to each of these tonic triads. So we've already had to do quite a bit of thinking about our major minor scales here, and now we've got to do the same again. And I probably should have mentioned earlier, I always have my circle of fifths written out. This is more keys than you'd need. You go up to 4 sharps and flats for grade 3. This is the entire circle. And it's a way of working out your major and minor key signatures straight away. If you're not sure how to do the circle of fifths, you'll find the link to my video tutorial explaining that in the cards and in the description. And it's much more helpful to just get it all down and think about it once and then just keep referring to it instead of having to keep bringing that information to mind. It saves such a lot of time and also saves mistakes as well. So if you're not sure, do check out that circle of fifths video. And so if you've done that, you've already done the thinking for this. So of course the first job for the clef, F sharp minor, must have an F sharp as the tonic at the bottom. And so here we have an F. We'll make that a sharp when we worry about the key signature, but that's an F in the treble clef. So that's job 1. And then F sharp minor, we know, is related to A major, which has a key signature of 3 sharps, F, C, G. So we can just plop those in there in the treble clef and we're done. So now this is a B here. We need to figure out a B, D, F, and so that's quite a way down. So let's just count up an octave. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. So we know that we're there an octave lower, and so that is a B in the bass clef, so that will also be a B in the bass clef. So we need that to be a bass clef. Alternatively, you can double check that because we know it goes 1st, 3rd, 5th, B, D, F, and if that is G, good boys, one below that is F, so we can double check it that way. Now B minor is related to D major and it has 2 sharps placed in the bass clef, F sharps and C sharps. Now then here, this is an A flat major chord, so we need this to be an A. We'll flatten it later with the key signature. And for that to be a note A, it needs to be bass clef. Good boys deserve football always. So that needs to be a bass clef. If we put treble clef, that would become an F, and that would then be wrong. Now A flat major has a key signature of 4 flats, B flats, E flats, A flats, and D flats. And you can see how I've already done all of that thinking, so it's no stress at all. So for this to be a D, the tonic for D major, this is the treble clef, every good boy deserves, so treble clef. And then D major has a key signature of 2 sharps, F sharps and C sharps. And finally we need this to be an F, and we've already done a bit of that thinking here. There's a G in the bass clef, one below that is a F, so bass clef. If we did that in treble clef, that would be D above middle C, so that would be wrong. And then F major has a key signature of B flats, and that's job done. So you can see how if you've done your circle of fifths, you've done all of the thinking in one go, and you can just keep referring to it. So do check out the video tutorial in the cards and the description below, just to really get to grips with those key signatures. So let's press on to the next question. So now we're asked to rewrite this melody. We've got to change everything to half of the value that will reflect in a new time signature, and then we're going to have to beam things differently as well to accommodate that. So at the moment we are in 2 beats per bar, and each beat is a half note or a minim, and so we stay 2 beats per bar, but we need each note now, each beat, to be a crotchet or a quarter note. So our new time signature will be 2/4. And then the way we make everything half is we add an extra tail, so that will become a dotted quaver, dotted 8th note, or add an extra beam or a little tail. So that'll have an extra beam on, that'll have an extra beam, that'll have a tail. So this is a crotchet or a quarter note rest, so that will become a quaver or an 8th note rest, little tail, extra beam, colour that one in, that becomes a crotchet instead of a minim, a quarter note instead of a half note, and if we just add a stem, that becomes a minim or a half note instead of a semi-breve or a whole note. So that's the thinking done for actually choosing the note values. Now I'm just going to get the note heads in place first of all. I'm not going to put any stems on because I'm going to have to make some decisions about which way the stems go and also how I'm going to beam these, because if you remember, every new beat needs to be reflected in the way we beam these notes. We need to show the start of each new crotchet beat, now quarter note beat, because we've changed the time signature. So I'm just getting these note heads in place. I suppose I can go ahead and put the rest. And I'm keeping everything aligned with theirs so I don't get lost. I suppose I can put the dot there. And then I'm not going to run out of space or get lost and miss something. There we go. So we need to reflect each crotchet beat. So we have 3/4 of a beat here with this dotted quaver, and then these two demi-semiquavers or 32nd notes are the equivalent of a semiquaver or a 16th note. So there's beat 1 now. 2/4 and a half give us beat 2 with our new time values. Now then here, that gives us half a beat, and then 3 in the time of 2 gives us the other half beat. So all of that is beat 1. There's beat 2. There's beat 1, there's beat 2. So we can see where we're going to have to beam. So I'm going to have to decide how to join all of these together in one beam. This is above the middle line, these are below. So I need to choose which way the stems are going. And we've got 2 against 1 here. And this is 3 away, this is 3 away. So it has to be the number outvoting this one on its own. If this one was miles away, then we'd have to perhaps choose that, but it's sort of an equal disparity really. So that's a dotted quaver. So we've created that little stem, that tail, into a beam, and then this will now have 3 beams. These will all be together with stems pointing up. That's nice and easy. And then we have 2 beams there to show the semis or the 16th notes, and that becomes a quaver. Now here all of these can go together, so I'm just going to start with a general large beat. I think I'll use a ruler for that. Let's not be too brave, that would be foolish. So let's first of all just get these stems in place. Now then, this is going to have 2 beats. I'm going to show, because there's quite a lot going on here, I'm going to show each half a beat within this. I'm not going to just go one all the way through for this second beam. I'm going to show each half a beat because we've got quite a lot of smaller values here. So we need 2 beams here and then a 3rd beam here, and then I can beam those together, and then that will also show that's a triplet, 3 in the time of 2. So although you could put a dotted line there and not, just to show each half of a beat clearly, and that will also clarify the triplet. So these are all going together. So that can have an extra beam, and there we go. So a bit tricky, but take it a step at a time and you'll soon get there. I do hope that's helpful to you. I hope that you're enjoying it, getting to grips with this grade 3. I'm certainly enjoying working through it with you. If you can give me a like, that would be really super. Please do subscribe to my channel to keep updated, and please do share out the videos. Please also do visit sharonbill.com and make use of all of the resource and information that's available there to help you. Thanks for watching. See you next time. Bye.